All right. Hello, everyone. This is Chris Ingerson, and it is November 17th, and this is the November 17th Text Quest Devstream. So, making sure that everything's on, making sure we're not muted because I'm paranoid. Okay. So, today we're going to be continuing our work on loading screen ASCII art animations, and for the most part, we're just going to be kind of trucking along, nothing too crazy. I have figured out how to create the ASCII art, or not ASCII art, but the text fill that we were talking about on Thursday. So we can see here on our hero that we have black outlines. Well, they're not really outlines, it's a black just fill behind the lettering. And this will let us have that more old school traditional um, text appearance where all of the characters could take up one particular set of space on the screen, and anything that they did would either have to be well, it could only be one of two colors. And so usually that resulted in this kind of filtered effect where the text would be one color and its background was black. And I wanted to lean into that to make things a little bit more visually clear because we were starting to get things doubling up. Excuse me. So by having this, it's just going to make our animations look, one, a little bit easier to read, and two, look a little bit older, like a little throwbacky. So that's what we're going to be doing today. And we're just going to be continuing our work on the Plains to Canyon loading screen. So I'm going to come back over here. And you can see that we have our background for the hero. I do not have it for anything else yet, and all I'm doing to accomplish that is TextMesh Pro has a tag called mark, and if you surround text with mark, it will actually fill in based on a color that you give it. If you don't give it any color, I think it defaults to white, but we want it to be black because that's what our backgrounds are. It is a little annoying because in order to get this to work properly, I have to use one label for the fill and one label for the actual text. And that's just because of how geometry is sorted in TextMesh, well, not TextMesh Pro, in Unity. Um, Anything using canvas renderers is sorted by children first. So because of how Mark generates its geometry, it generates fill on top of the text, which is technically under the text. Um, and that just gives things gets things out of order. So the simplest way I found around that is to just have a second label. There is actually a way to do it with one label, but I need a second label anyway because the fill is a little odd in that I'm actually going to go ahead and try. I want to make this red to see if it's a little easier to look at. Okay, I guess it's just white. Um, anyway, so one of the problems with this is the mark tag will only work up to the points for the actual geometry for the text, which means that it will be flush with the text. The reason that it's not here is because I've taken the two label approach. So I have the first label, which is the background, has a font size of 84 as opposed to the font size that was previously used of 72. Because of that, I now have a little bit more um, of a bit of padding on the left and right here, but it is a little. It's not exactly what I need because you'll notice that it is also a little bit too far up and down, which actually means that I need to compress it a little bit. I didn't realize it was doing that. So we are going to shrink our line by 20. Nah, by 15. 17. That's better. So that's a little bit closer. The main thing is I need to make sure that it's kind of close as possible to the edge without actually being on the edge of the font. So we're gonna have to probably fine tune this for almost everything that we make. I'm also said that this won't do colors. I was hoping that it would. Oh well. So we'll just have to do manual color generation. Okay. Fortunately, black is easy because it's just zeros. Just like white is just Fs. Okay. So that's pretty much the approach that we're going to take. So let's go ahead and grab our tree because we're going to have to do something similar for the tree. And I'm going to actually put this, I guess I could put it on the tree area. I might as well. All right. And as you can see, we have this line going through, which we don't want. So I'm going to duplicate this label. We're going to put it below this one. We're going to set it so that it's stretched, which is good. That's all that we're already doing. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. And we're going to make this all be markup. And as you can see, we no longer have the background filtering through this. To give you a sense of what that would look like otherwise. So this is what it was before. You can see our horizon line in the back there, and then with full alpha, it's blocked off. So that actually gives it a nice look. I like that. So we're probably going to actually retroactively go back and do this for all of our loading screens. Fortunately, we don't have too many to do there, but that's actually a nice thing to know. So it does suck because again, it's very close. If I go ahead and go up to here, let's take away 1, 0 so that it's white. You can see that again, it's pretty much right on top of these things. Which I guess is actually closer to what it would be. So perhaps I shouldn't give it padding. Hard to say. I think for the trees it's probably fine, so let's go ahead and add 1 more 0 to that. So now it's completely black. We can also streamline this just a little bit in that I will not need different colors. So I'm also not sure if I'm going to need underlines, but I'll keep it in there. The reason that I'm trying to strip out colors and such is because TextMesh Pro will have to evaluate all of these things regardless of if they are used. Well, regardless of if they are visible because they are used. Excuse me. So I need to more carefully plan that. Did I have an unwrapped color? Oh no, okay. Oh, okay. There we go. Wait, no. Oh, it's because it's there because of that. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this color and get rid of this. All right. And again, just real quick, I am going to change the mark so that again I can see it. Make sure everything still lines up. It looks like the underline part or the underline part does not factor in, which is okay, I guess. I actually kind of feel like maybe I should get rid of that. Let's try that just to be sure. Okay. All right. Just doing this to save on, again, any sort of rich text processing that would have to go on, because all we care about is the actual markup. All right, so that all seems to look right. Let's go ahead and add a 0 to that again, making that solid black again. Let's go ahead and hit apply to our label. All right. Also, actually rename this label background. Let's apply. Delete that. Hit save. Okay. Let's go ahead, go up here, set this to be 0. Set planes to canyon, hit apply. I'm going to turn off the UI here. We're just going to go ahead and jump in play and see what things look like in motion. We should be able to see see the trees move. We should be able to watch how the horizon disappears behind them. The player is still going to be jumping around because that's something I haven't fixed yet. The next things that we're going to do is profile, because I want to know why it's doing this. Give it a second. Okay, yeah. I want to know what's doing that, because that's ridiculous. Oh dear, that's not great. Oh, that is interesting. They fade in super awkwardly. Um, hmm. They do look good in motion because you can see that they're covering the background there, and you can see that our hero does now stand out in front of them, which is nice. I do like that. All right. Um, hmm. Except we do have a problem where if I fade in, that happens. Ugh. So we might have to take a different approach with the hero, which is fine. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I really need to have a markup for that. I could probably just use a square sprite just because it's squarish in its presentation. It's not like a unique shape similar to the trees. Um, okay, so first things first, let's go ahead and go over here to Window. I'm going to open up Profiler. And then I'm going to hit play because I want to know what's causing that huge lag spike. Because whatever it is, it's got to be bad. I don't know what would be doing it. It is quite infuriating. Okay, so that time we obviously did not have as big of a spike. But we did have something of a spike when we first started playing, which I guess is kind of to be expected. So you can see that we have this huge spike here. Granted, it's not as big as when I hit pause. Apparently, that's just absurdly expensive. Mostly due to UI. Jeez. Okay. So like everything kicks into gear, which I guess makes sense because this is the first frame. But where is this coming from? Okay, editor overhead, early update. Okay, interesting. File.open, that makes me think it's the settings stuff. Perhaps that's just something I have to live with, which would be a little disappointing, to be sure. Getting some physics.ray casts. Not great. Well, alright. We'll keep an eye on that, I guess. So let's go ahead and turn on our UI. Let's go back here to root. Let's make this have one. Interactable. Actually, no, we can go ahead and get rid of that. And blocks raycast, we can get rid of that. So for the hero background, instead of having it be TextMesh Pro, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove this component. We're going to add an image. We're going to make this be our, I don't remember, solid, I think is what I called it. Okay, solid slice sprite. Let's go ahead and make this, I'm going to keep it as white actually for now, as I move things around. Let's give it a height of, I'm going to say 240, 25, 30. That's a little bit better, yeah. All right, and that's our hero. Let's go ahead and make our background be black. Okay, so that's a little bit easier. Let's go ahead, reset this down to 0. Set planes to canyon. Let's go ahead and hit apply. Do we even need the listener here? I don't really know what the point of that is, but I will go ahead and hit apply here. Second, I am going to go ahead and go up to loading view. I want to change it so that the loading bar is not at 100% when it opens. It should be at 0. All right. Let's see here. On open, loading image, color. So for set load amount, let's find all references here. All right. So I guess what I'm just going to do is say on open, I'm going to call set load amount 0. 0f. Pretty straightforward. That should prevent it from popping in, at the very least. Perhaps I should actually do that on close. That might be better, even. Well, I'll do it for both, I suppose. Well, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're going to say minigame, clean up minigame, fading. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. So that should set it to 0 when it opens at the very least, so we shouldn't get that jump. Apparently I'm not using system collections not generic, so I can get rid of that too. That's always a plus. Okay, and let's take a look at planes to canyon animation. Let's go ahead and try to get the. I don't know how we want to handle this, honestly. Um, Maybe I should just have it take a set amount of time instead of trying to map it to the load amount. Because obviously, if I do the load amount, it's going to jump around a lot. So I probably should just have it take an arbitrary amount of time, and then once it reaches that time, it'll just be in the same spot for a little bit. Um, mm, yeah, I guess it's not exactly ideal, but let's go ahead and say serialize field. Flip. What am I doing? Tooltip. Private float hero move duration as equal to I don't know 10f, probably 15f, like a decent amount of time. Um, let's see how long it takes the hero to move to its end position from the start of the animation. All right. Let's see. I guess that means that I would say down here, private float hero increment is equal to 0f. And private float, actually no, that's good enough. Is it though? No. So then we'll say private, nope. Private int hero index is equal to 0. Okay. So on start, or perhaps on initialize, we'll say hero index or hero increment is equal to hero move duration divided by, um, well, actually no, it would be equal to, let's see, hero end position minus hero start position, should give us a normalized value, divided by the move duration that will tell us how small these increments need to be, and then we'll say hero move index is equal to 0, that's all fine. Alright, so down here in hero cooldown, we're going to go ahead and say, that's all fine. So we're going to say hero index plus plus, and then we're going to say hero.increment is equal to lerp from this based off of hero index times hero increment. There we go. So that should work in theory. All right, so let's go ahead and let that all compile. All right. Let this finish and Shazam. Abracadabra. Hocus pocus. Aha, there we go. That time it worked. All right. So let's go ahead and turn off our UI. Save. Let's try this out. So what should happen now is one, when we open the loading screen, it should not be, its loading bar should not be filled in at all. It should just have 0%. Maximize on play too. And two, our character's lerping should be a little bit better. Oh, that's much better. That is much better. Although I get the feeling it's going to keep going, isn't it? Because... Oh, no, never mind. Okay. So that works out. Yeah, that's about what I was hoping it would do. So it's gonna just kind of stay there. Um, I kind of feel like maybe I should have it drift a little bit to the left and to the right occasionally, and then eventually just settle back into this position, just as a way to add some variety. But at the same time, don't think I really need to do that. That's just a nicety. Um, but ooh, interesting. We have a null reference exception. Why do we have a null reference exception? Let's find out. Oh, that's duh. Right. That was me. That was me being silly. Let's go back here to our Canyon. I deleted the hero label, and it's also moved anyway, so that needs to go there. Okay, so let's try that again. Go ahead and hit apply. Let's turn off our UI. Blah 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 blah. Hit save. All right. All right. I'm not crazy about how it sort of delays the fade in. That's not great, but it works. Okay. So we do have a little bit of the fill. Um, I I was a little concerned about how the fade in happens. You'll remember that originally we would see the letter M's in the background there. Now since I switched over to an image, that's fine for the hero. I think my strategy for background elements is just to give them duplicate labels. So you won't be able to see the fade in happen on them for the most part. You might be able to see through them very briefly, but it would be such a small amount of time that I'm not really that concerned about it. Um, all right, so this seems to work. It does pretty much what I would expect. I think we're in a good spot here. So the next thing I would like to do before moving on to adding the mountain in the background, I would like to add a completion message to the 100% that says press any key to continue after it. So let's go ahead and say stop here. Let's go back to loading view. Let's see. Set load amount, find all references. Excuse me. And right here. All right. I guess it kind of makes sense here. So for set load amount 1F, I am going to do something specific here for logic that says if value is greater than or equal to 1F question mark, otherwise it's going to be that. So if it's greater than or equal to 1F, then it's going to be this bit of string that's going to say 100. Oh, that complicates things because of course it does. So I guess I'm going to do this. So we're going to say uh, value is greater than or equal to 1f, question mark. If that's the case, then we're going to do something special. Otherwise, we're going to do the string.format. So we're going to say 100% and then dash press any key to continue. All right. So let's go ahead and let that compile. So that should make that a little bit more intuitive. Not really even intuitive. That's just me telling you what to do. I have noticed that some people do not immediately notice the blinking press any key to continue at the bottom left. So I'm just going to change it up a little bit so that anytime the loading screen completes, it will tell you at the very top, surrounded by bright colors, and contrasting it appropriately, that you need to just hit the key to continue, and then it should be fine. At least that's the goal, anyway. Okay, so let's try that. Oh, really? You're gonna be like that, huh? Come on. I can't believe that it did that. Why can't I have nice things? Loading bar. Why? Why would I do that? I have no idea. Um, cool. So let's go ahead and change that to be something arbitrary like 300. Oh, wow. Really? It's going to have to be way late, or way bigger than that, isn't it? Okay. Cool. Cool. Probably I'll just make that be a fill label then. So let's go ahead and let that go. Let's go back to our UI. Go back to loading. We're going to go ahead and close this just so we don't have to worry about it. I'm going to need to apply changes. Fill area progress label is going to just be the entire thing. Okay, with 0 and 0. Left centered, that's all good. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this. It is off by default, right? Yes, yes, yes. Hit apply. For now, I'm going to turn that off. Let's try that again. See what that looks like in action. So once we have this working, I think the next thing to do is just going to be to add a mountain in the background that's scrolling at a slower pace, or rather a less frequent pace than the trees. Of course, I didn't give it any padding because I am dumb. Okay, so I need to just give that padding and then we should be good. And I think that's a pretty decent way to show that message, just because it's like up at the very top. It's pretty obvious. So we shouldn't have to worry about it. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop. We're going to turn on the UI. Turn this on. Will give us padding from the left by about 10. Padding from the right about 10. Why didn't you move? What is this loading? Oh, you son of a... yes. That. Okay, cool. So I forgot how my own code worked, because of course I did. Well, that's great. So I can just change this to be what it was, which was this, with an offset of, I'm guessing 5, and it had a width of 80, I think. So yeah, we can do that, because it can only ever get to 100%. So I no longer need to worry about that. I shot myself in the foot. I thought I was stupid in the past, and I was actually smart in the past. Go figure. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back here. Set load amount. and this is going to have the message press any key to continue. So let's try that. Actually, we'll let that one go because I'm pretty confident that that will do everything that we want. So now we can get back to our mini game thing. Although actually, I guess I should turn this off and hit apply first. Boom. All right. Assuming it will let me. Are you going to compile Unity? Yes. Maybe not. Okay, there we go. Jeez. Let's go ahead and hit save. And we're done with the loading bar stuff. Let's go back here to our mini game plays to Canyon. Let's open this up. Set our, oops, not interactable. Set our alpha to be 1. All right. So the next thing that we need is I'm going to say, I guess we could put it, yeah, we'll just have this be in the background. So let's go ahead and create a new TextMesh Pro label. I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate Horizon label, honestly. So let's duplicate this, and I'm going to call this the mountain label. Okay, scale everything so it's all good. 0. All right. And the way this is going to work is we are going to be at the min anchor position of 0.75. 0.75. That seems correct-ish, I would say. We are not going to have a particular... Actually, no. We're going to handle this a little bit differently. So we're going to go ahead and come up to here. We're going to make this stretch all the way across. 0.75, 0.7, oops, nope, 1.75, about there. I'll give it a height of 0. Let's go ahead and put our mountain label down here. We are going to have this just be like its own little thing with a specific width and height. That will make things much easier. No special offset. Let's go ahead and, oh, this is going to be tough. I have to make a mountainous shape. So how do I want to handle this? I suppose the easiest way to cheat would be to do something like this. This is going to look really bad, so please bear with me. We're also going to be centered at the bottom, and I'm going to need to grow arbitrarily, so I'm just going to give myself like 250 with a pivot of 0. Why? All right, that's too big for now, but I'll change it in a little bit. I guess I can make this 0.7. 0.7. It's probably a little bit better. Yeah. Okay. So we're not going to have this label back here. Instead, we are going to have... Ooh, hello. Really? Why? That's interesting. Well, let's fix that. Okay. So I got it. Interesting. I wonder why I was using that particular font. All right. So that's better. Let's go back up to here and replace this 8-bit font. All right. So this is going to be the summit, which has 2 M's actually. I'm pretty sure. Yes, okay. Let's see. I might actually, real quick, let's see. Summit, pointed surface. Yeah, I'm just looking at basically the breakdown of the mountain. Okay. Nadir? That's... Okay. Never mind. I was wondering if that was going to be the base, but I guess not. Um, okay, so I think we might be able to present it as summit, mountain, and then base. Maybe. Let's see. Let's see, mountain. Let's see if we can get some clear breakdowns of how a mountain is structured, because that would be cool if it's done in easily segmented chunks like that, but no such luck probably. So, alright, then I'm just going to kind of eyeball it to see how things look. It does kind of suck that like Summit and Mountain both do work for the style, um, in that they would make this tapered look, but then I can't, I don't have a longer word for the bottom. Um, but I suppose, hmm, I suppose that we would actually want this to kind of be structured like this. This is going to be particularly interesting. Oops, hold on. Trying to structure this in such a way that it would work. I mean, maybe if I had one more letter, that would totally work, but I can't get that to work. Actually, hold on. I think, what is it? There's a setting for this. Spacing. Let me double check this. So we're going to do text mesh pro spacing tag. Let's see if I can get, let's see, character spacing. Okay. If it's anything like the other stuff, then I can just do this. So CS. Wait, is it C spacing? Or is it CS spacing? It's neither of those things, apparently. It's C space. Got that completely wrong. Okay. 1M, 0.5M. Okay, I think that's good. So let's go ahead and say C space. We're going to do that. Hello, Meandering Leaf. Welcome back. How are you doing today? We are currently working on ASCII art animations for our loading screens. All right, so I'm going to say C space, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut down C space. All right, so we're going to make this, let's see, 1M. Oh, okay, too much. 0.1M. That's pretty good, actually. I like that. You're just doing goodish. That's goodish, I suppose. Well, I figured that ASCII art works pretty well for the loading screens. Might as well go for that low-hanging fruit, in my opinion. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see. So that's our mountain, that's our summit, and here is our base. Let's go ahead and add. Why do I keep doing that? This followed by this, followed or preceded by this whole fun thing. All right, I think that works pretty well actually. Now we can make this a kind of greenish, or not greenish, kind of a grayish blue, something like that. Let's also bump this up to 48. Ooh, can we make it one more bigger? 56. Maybe it's kind of hard to say. That's a little close to the loading screen. But actually, you know what? No, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to put that there. Let's go ahead and shorten our height down down to? I'm guessing 200. Yep. And our width is going to be 600. Ooh, I was very close. 25. Haha. Cool. So we now have some ASCII art for our mountain. I do wonder if I should just have it say mountain instead of summit mountain base. But then again, I think that works pretty well. Hmm. I suppose. It would be fun if I had the name for the mountain there, I suppose, but I don't know if I can make that work. So, all right. So this is what the mountain ASCII art will look like. We are going to move it down just a little bit lower to point. Actually, where is our horizon at? Point. Okay, so let's do 0.675. 0.675. So it's just like right on top of that, basically. Um, Mount Kerning. That is a good name for it. I actually don't think I had a name for it. Did I? I might as well. I might. Mount Kerning would actually be a really good name for it. Um, let's see. Let's try this. Ooh, that's close. Suppose I could use. I'm pretty sure. I think it's just MOUNT, right? Pretty sure that I have that right. Da, 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 da. Yes, cool. So we'll call it Mount Kerning, and we'll increase our width to 650. Might as well. It's fine. Oh, really? Not gonna be nice. All right. How about 75? There we are. That does make it. Hmm. The spacing does get a little bit different in that case, though. So I need to, I think, use. Do I need to use two of these? Oof, not sure about that. Um, let's get some more C space in here, something like this. That'll help just a little bit, I think. And we're just going to make you 800, so I can shrink it in whatever I want. We'll go for Mount Kerning. That's pretty good. Let's reduce that even further, though, to 0.05. Okay. I like it. All right. So that is our the ASCII art for our mountain. I'm a little concerned just because I have mountain and mount right next to each other, and I'm not crazy about that. It'd be better if I could replace mountain with something else, but I don't know what I would use there. Um, well, whenever in doubt, there's always let's try to Google middle section of a mountain because there has to be a term for it. Um, oh, well, here we go. Parts of a mountain. Uh, brink, brow, cairn, cap, crag, crest, crown, divide, escarpment. Okay. Face. Oh, face would actually work. That kind of makes sense. Flank, gap, hillside, hilltop, landslide. That's not okay. Ledge. No. Lee, lip, mountainside. I mean, I don't want to just call it mountainside. Uh, pass, peak, pinnacle, peak, ridge, scree. Okay then. Also scree. There are two screes apparently. Shelf, shoulder, side, slide, slope. Slope would be pretty good. I just wish that it would be longer than that. Dang. So no real nice fill for it. Um, I'll just do that. I think it'll be fine, honestly. Um, so the trick here is going to be one, this is our mountain area. And two, basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to be sliding the anchor points across uh, the position. So we'll probably start over here and we'll just kind of like slowly move this into range until it's like probably about here, I'm going to guess. And then it will just stay there. And then when you rush off to the end, it'll kind of like drift slowly further away. So that's what I'm kind of thinking we're going to do. We'll start at probably 1-1, I'm going to say. We'll do that. I don't know. Maybe I should have it start way off screen, actually. So like 1.25, 1.25, something like that, where it just slowly starts to come on screen. All right. So let's go ahead. And we're going to, save. Also, thank you, Meandering Leaf, for the name. I do like Mount Kerning a lot. Let's get some stretches. And I also need to get new freaking headphones because this one's my headset's driving me crazy. Okay, so let's go up here to our Plains Canyon. Grab this. We are going to. Are we going to do anything with this, or do I want to have it? No. I suppose. All right. So we're just going to keep track of our rect transform there for the mountain. We're going to come down to, let's see, tree positions, tree cooldown, range. Let's go ahead and come down to here. So I'm going to go ahead and do a header trees. Header hero. And then we'll finish up with header mountain. And for this we'll say serialized field, tooltip, yada yada yada, private, float. Pretty much actually we're going to, I think, take the hero positionings. So right about here. So we're going to come back down to here, place that in. We're going to call this mountain. Mountain start pose and mountain end pose for the mountain, All right. And in addition to that, I'm going to go ahead and say serialized field. Let's go to tooltip, private, float, mountain move duration is equal to, I'll say, actually, I'm going to assume 30 seconds just for it to go from all the way to its starting position to its end position. I don't anticipate people will wait that long, but that's actually fine in my opinion. So this will be how long it takes the mountain to move from its starting position to its end position. All right, and let's see here. So we're going to need to do a couple of things, pretty much the same thing we were doing before with the hero. We're going to need to have, so we'll say private int mt index is equal to 0, and then private float, here we'll do this, private float mt increment is equal to 0f, and then private float mt cooldown, yes, question mark is equal to 0f. I'm not sure about that, honestly. Um, so on initialize, we are just going to go ahead and say, actually, should I do that somewhere other than initialize? Should I do that in like awake? Because honestly, those values aren't going to change any. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. No reason to calculate them every time that it gets opened. I really only need it for the one. Okay, so we're going to come down to here, paste that, and then we're going to do pretty much the same thing with the MT indexes. MT index, MT. This is going to be mountain impose and mountain start pose and mountain. Okay, did I not call it mountain? Did I spell it wrong? Oh, of course I called it mointan. Mountain end pose. All right. And finally, we will go up, actually back up here to initialize and start hero anchors. That's all fine. Clean up. Where do I set hero cooldown to be equal to 0? Ah, right. It's done in update. Probably that should be initialized at the very start as well. So we're going to go ahead and say, we'll say hero cooldown is equal to 0f. Tree cooldown is equal to 0f, and then mountain just MT cooldown is equal to 0f. All right. That way we know that they're all starting from the correct position. We don't have to worry about that. Let's go ahead and go all the way down to here again. Okay, so we're going to say if MT cooldown is less than or equal to 0f, else, not else, we will say MT cooldown minus equals time dot delta time divided by, actually just that, I guess. Okay. I kind of wonder if I should store that, honestly, as a temporary variable, but it's okay. So we're going to go ahead and say, so we'll say MT cooldown plus equals hero speed. Okay. That'll reset that. And then we're going to say MT index, not increment, MT index plus plus. And we're going to say I am resetting that. I am not. So hero index and here an MT index need to totally be set on initialize. Hero index is equal to 0. MT index is equal to 0. Come back down here. So we're going to say MT index plus plus. That's all fine. We don't need to worry about any of this stuff. So we're just going to say, pretty much just going to copy this. Come back down here. Paste this in here. We're going to say mountain dot anchor min, mountain dot anchor max, and again this is going to be mountain and then mountain based off of MT index based off of MT increment. Oh. Oh, interesting. Okay. Fine. Weird. Fine. Strange. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, I guess I don't really need that wrapper there. Okay. So that should do everything that I want, and then we can go ahead and say is equal to mountain.anchor min. We'll just make sure that those move at the same time. And cool. Let's go ahead and do that. So we should now have a mountain label that will move from right to left as the loading screen just animates. And once that finishes compiling, I'll be able to actually drag in the assigned reference. But for now, I'm going to take a drink. Yeah, I feel like if Elks is not a good statement. All right, so we're gonna drag our mountain label in there, and we don't need to do anything with its label, with the label itself. So for that, I will probably actually turn off. We need to, we do need to keep rich text, but we can turn off pretty much all of this. Um, all right, so let's go ahead and collapse this, set this down to be 0, hit apply here. Everything else looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and turn off this UI and see how things look. I am reasonably confident that it will actually be pretty nice. I do need to clean my glasses though. Quick. Sorry, I'm cleaning my glasses. Okay. Let's try this. Wow, that is... Oh, it's because I put it in the wrong position. Oops. Well, now it doesn't look like the mountain is moving in the background. It looks like it's chasing the player. Oh, geez. How nightmarish. Um, I do like that the mountain is getting occluded by the trees. That looks pretty nice. Um, okay. Yeah, that's hilarious. I feel like I should record that actually. Well, I'll probably make a recording of it later. But that is really funny that it was moving along with the player as opposed to in the opposite direction. So I need to reverse these actually. So the start position needs to be at, let's see, what was it? 1.25, I think. Yeah, 1.25. And the end position probably needs to be at something like 0.4, I'm guessing. Maybe no, maybe 0.3. Okay. That oof, that is rough. Hold on. I need to set this to be so I guess I actually want this to be mathf dot the absolute value of this, just so that it properly handles itself. Oh, and actually, you know what? While we're in there, I should come up here and do. All right. But yeah, I do like having the various um, parallax scrolling going on, or the various forms of it. I do like that our mountain is in the background. I think that looks pretty nice. Um, I think that pretty much is everything that I need for this particular loading screen. We are going to have to do something similar. We are going to need to duplicate it and reverse the values on the mountain for and the player position and all that. Just because when we're coming back from the canyon to the plains, I want it to be going from right to left, not left to right. So I need to kind of reverse the directions that it's going, um, which is going to complicate things, maybe. Well, nah, we'll see. Just because that means that the trees are also going to have to move in the opposite direction as opposed to scrolling from right to left. They'll need to move from left to right. But again, minor things, just mirroring it for the most part. All right. So we get our mountain. Oof, that is moving way too fast. Like that is moving almost linearly to where I don't know how I feel about that. That should have taken 30 seconds. That was definitely not 30 seconds. I did something wrong with this. should be correct. But it moved so fast. So it should be 30. It should take 30 seconds to complete its movement, basically. Or no, that's not how that would work, actually. Um, it would just take 30 ticks, and a tick is however fast the hero is. Um, oof. Okay, so we would have to actually crank that number pretty high. Let's double that to 60 just to see what that looks like. So we'll still get motion. It's just that now it will be more fine grained. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So now you can see that it's taking longer, quote unquote. It's not actually taking 60 seconds, it's taking 60 movements to get from the start position to its end position. So I actually want that to be a much smaller value, probably. I should probably do something similar for the trees, maybe. I don't know. I might double the mountain movement again, so that it's like 120 as opposed to 60. Uh, but I do like it. Once it gets to its final position, it's a little stilted, I feel, but no, I think it's fine. All right. Um, all right, we can do that. So I'm pretty happy with that. Uh, I think I think that's good, honestly. Um, I don't think that we need to have really anything more in terms of animation for this one. If I add anything else, honestly, I feel like we're just going to be overwhelming. Um, but yeah, I think this actually looks pretty good for a loading screen. You know, got our nice ASCII art, got our mountain in the background, got our trees in the midground, and then our hero in the foreground. I like that. I think it looks really nice. Okay, and I do really like that the trees do occlude all the text behind them. That just makes it. I'm so happy that Text Mesh Pro has that built in because that means that it's gonna let me do even more detailed ASCII art animation on these loading screens. Because if I didn't have that fill in the background, if I couldn't make the character backgrounds black, then I wouldn't be able to prevent things from poking through, and that would make it visual chaos. But since I can, then I can do some pretty crazy stuff. So we'll see what I can come up with. But for now, that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and save that. I'm going to duplicate this. So we're going to duplicate this. We're going to rename this plane or canyon to plains. We are going to flip positions here. So this is going to be 0.3. Oh. No. No. This is going to be negative 0.2 and then 0.7, actually. So it's not an inversion. It's a, well, it's not a, it's an inversion. It's not a just negation of it. So that means that this is going to be from 0.9 to 0.4. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and I'm going to open up Plains to Canyon Tree because I need to set its speed. Let's find all references. Hero speed, huh? I don't want to make a separate tree prefab. It would be better if I could actually get this to work without any extra hoops on my end. Plains to Canyon. I mean, maybe I could actually flip this. So let's go ahead and go back to Canyon to Plains, and we're going to say, so we're going to put this back kind of. So this is going to be 0.4 from 0.9. No, that won't work. I was just gonna make the speed negative, but that actually would cause all sorts of problems. So we're not gonna do that. Um, we'll have this be the case, and then I am going to have to. Let's just add an extra field here for tree speed modification, I guess. Um, oh, geez. Actually, hold on. Normalized position is equal to random value, which I actually, hold on. Do I even need that? I guess we do. Oh, wait, no, we totally don't because I don't use it there. So there's no point in me passing that in. So I can get rid of that. Yeah, that's all fine actually. So that means we can get rid of this. Save that. Let's go back to planes to canyon animation. And then we can pass in a speed modifier now, I think. So let's go up to here, tree positions. Number of positions, the trees will stop when moving. That's all fine. Let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to say serialize field. You'll take 10? Is that 10 trees or 10 ASCII art animations? I'm actually not sure what our total number is going to be. I guess it would be, we'll have an ASCII art animation for every transition to and every transition from a level. Outside of very special circumstances, I guess. So, quite a few, actually. Let's go to tooltip. Ribbit, flute. Tree speed modifier. Actually, no, let's just do tree duration is equal to 1F. No. Well, no. Nope, because, oh dear. Speed has to be a positive value because cooldown, once it's below 0, will, yeah. Womp, womp. Not exactly great. Cool. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dang it. That sucks. Okay, how about this? I'm going to say bool invert direction, or how about reverse direction? Okay, we're going to come up to here. I'm just going to say private bool reverse direction, not direction. Direction is equal to false. And then we're going to say this dot reverse direction is equal to reverse direction. And down here, I'm just going to basically copy this. Copy this. I'm going to say reverse direction, question mark, that, otherwise that. And if we reverse direction, all I'm going to do is go from our max positions to 0 instead of from 0 to our max positions. I think that will work. At least I'm pretty sure anyway. So let's do that. And we're going to go back up to here. We're going to change this from tree duration to reverse. Wow, can't spell. Reverse tree directions. Directions is equal to false. And I'm just going to say up here, if true, trees will move from right to, I'm sorry, left to right. Left to right. This is a bool. I can copy this and come back down to here say, ba-ba. So now I don't have to have a separate prefab between my two mini games here, or my two animations. I should rename that so they're not called mini games. And now I can just have a little toggle that I check right there, and that will solve it for me. 10 animations. Oh god. I feel like 10 different things going on in the UI. Oh, I do not know why I keep yawning. Must be all that carbon monoxide in the house. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like 10 would be a ton of animations. Just for one loading screen. God, that would be so many things. All right, so plains to or canyon to plains is going to be reverse tree direction. Everything else should be good. At least I'm pretty sure. Go ahead and save that. And everything else I think is about right. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our loading animations again. We got to add one more. So we're going to have 6. This is going to be from the canyon to the plains. Canyon to the plains. It's going to be at the spawn point, plains, canyon. And it's going to be canyon to plains. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and rename these from minigame to loading animation. Okay, same thing. All right. Go ahead and hit save there. And I think let's go ahead and go back up to here. Loading animation, loading animation. Let's go ahead and rename this. Oops, not loading. Loading animation. Animation. All right, let's give this a try. See how things look. So we're going to go from the plains to the canyon, and then we're going to go from the canyon to the plains. Oh god, a text bullet hell. Ah, that would be so nightmarish to try and do. Not only because I would have to, one, have it all be 2D, but two, I would have to rotate the sprites so that they are legible and they are believably facing the direction that they're facing. Oh man, that would be so hard. All right. Oh no, it's gonna throw an error. I can't. I can't do it yet. It's gonna throw an error because I need to come down here. Here we are. To loading, I need to duplicate this. Well, actually, no. No, I don't. I lied. I lied. I was miscorrect. Or, not miscorrect. I was incorrect. Because I already have a flavor text object assigned for the planes. So, never mind. All right. Let's try this one more time. False alarm. Okay, so we get our loading level. And it's suddenly done. Okay. I do like how everything looks, so let's go ahead and hit space. Let's see. There we go. Yep, that's pretty much what I was wanting it to look like. So we have our trees moving from left to right. We have our mountain moving from left to right. We have our hero moving from right to left. Everything looks pretty good there. I might have it actually be a little, well, no, that's fine. So we'll let everything get to its final position, make sure that everything looks nice. All right. I like it. That looks good. Okay. Let's hit All right, nice. And now let's go back to see how things look once we've already opened the menu. Okay. I was I was worried that it actually wouldn't recycle everything properly, but that looks pretty nice. So success. We now have a loading screen for going to and from the canyon. Um, cool, and it looks really nice. Let's go ahead and stop playing. I'm gonna go ahead and save. And now we get to the more difficult of the loading screens, which is going to be the loading screens for the cabin. Because unlike pretty much every level we've had so far has been the loading screens have basically been duplicates of each other, where there's been a loading screen for going one direction, and then the opposite is basically the exact same loading screen with just values reversed. The cabin has three different ways to get into it, and each one is completely different. So that means I have to have three different loading screens, um, which complicates things because they're all three very different ways of doing it. And funny enough, only one of them is actually something that would be time consuming enough that it would make a good loading screen. The other two are gonna have to I'm gonna have to be a little more creative. Um, oh man, this is gonna be interesting. And by interesting, I mean very frustrating, probably. So the most obvious one would to start with would be the door, I guess. And I'm not really sure what I want to do for a loading screen with that, honestly. So maybe the easiest one to start with would be the window over here, um, because I could do like a little animation of. I'm not really sure, honestly. Uh, hmm. I was gonna. I was thinking of having maybe an animation of the hero trying to open the window and like straining to do so. But maybe it would be better to have an animation of them just like trying to fit into the window. That might be better, since you already. Well, yeah. Oh man, that's gonna suck so hard. Because that means it has to have a completely different ASCII art for the interior when you're trying to leave that way. I'm making it so hard on myself. Why? Um. Ooh, maybe. Um. Maybe it would be better, actually. Let's go ahead and turn on our UI. We're gonna come back down over to here. Let's go to our root minigame area. Hmm. Perhaps it would be better if we, um, instead of having completely different loading screens for each one, instead what we did was just like a front view of the cabin, and then we could show the various positions that the player tries to enter from. Um, just because all three of the entrances to the cabin can be seen from the front. There is no way in from the back because they're all boarded up. And it would kind of be funny to just have the same perspective for all three loading screens, but different locations, if that makes, or but different locations of the hero, if that makes sense. Um, so what we would do is, let's go ahead and set this up. I'm going to call this loading animation. This is going to be called uh, planes to cabin. We'll call this kitchen. Okay, let's go ahead and select this. I'm going to make this into its own set of prefabs. Create folder, planes to cabin. Create folder, prefabs. Let's go ahead and put that in here so I don't accidentally overwrite the old stuff. All right. So how this will work is player area is not really going to be a thing. Tree area is not really going to be a thing. Background is not really going to be a thing either. Good God, why is it putting me way out here? This is not what I wanted. Let's go back here. So I'm a little worried that the background's going to be kind of sparse, but that might be okay. Just because obviously the backgrounds are mostly black anyway. Let's go ahead and I'm going to turn off the path label. I'm going to turn off the horizon label, and we don't really need the mountain. So what we're going to do is we're going to have the cabin. And oh boy, this is going to be a very interesting challenge. Let's go ahead and duplicate this horizon label real quick. We'll turn this back on. I'm going to call this the cabin label. So I'm going to try. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I'm going to try to make an ASCII art representation of the cabin. I I anticipate that I will fail quite miserably, but I will try. Um, all right. So first things first. One, I'm actually going to come out here so I can see it. Work with me. There we go. Okay. Second, I'm going to go ahead and single these out. I think I don't know if I want it to be stretched or not. For the time being, I'm going to have it just take up that entire space. We'll deal with that in a second. But now I can come back over here. Let's get a good look at the cabin. This is going to be interesting to try and eyeball. Let's go back over to here. So let's start with some walls. Right there. I think that's probably about as good as we need to get in terms of verticality, honestly, because I can't really get much taller than that. I'm running out of space. So let's go to cabin, no spaces. Cabin. Okay, like that. So that's what we're looking at. All right. Oh boy. Okay. This gets super complicated. So I'm trying to do door. Yeah, we're gonna have to do some pretty clever shenanigans to get this to look right. Door. Door. All right. So probably one more. Door. And now we need to underline this cabin. Oh man, this is gonna be a challenge. Especially because I kind of want the cabin door outlines to be brown, but that would mean I would have to change the underlying color of the cabin, but not the text itself. Oh my, that's gonna make things really difficult. Um, oof. Okay, let me think. Is there a way to change underline color actually in TextMesh Pro? Let's see. Font. You strike through an underline. If I'm really lucky, I could. But no, that's unfortunate. Let's see if something jumps out at us. Position, important. Mark. Margin. Indentation. Height. Indentation. Font. Character spacing. color. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. All right. So I'm not sure if we can get around that necessarily, which is unfortunate. But it's not the end of the world. So let's try to bring in the spacing a little bit. So we're going to say C space is equal to 0.1 and okay. Let's go ahead and put this back over here. Close C space. Oops. There we are. And we're actually going to shorten this to negative 0.1 m. That's really close. Maybe negative 0.15. Shoot, we're getting really close to 2. So I have to do 2, which sucks. Let me think. I'm going to move this inside of the door because I want the doors to be a little more spaced. So let me grab this, move this, put you here, move this, put you here. Oh, that is so unfortunate. So even though that's in about the correct space, unfortunately, it seems like it doesn't want to play nice. That sucks. Um, Okay. How do I want to handle this then? I could adjust the sizing. I'd prefer them all to be the same size. I don't want to. I don't want to make them spaced differently. It sucks really hard. All right. How about if I make this just 1? Oh wait, that doesn't help. That makes things worse. So I'm probably gonna have to go to like, okay, not 4, but 3, 3.5 almost. Okay, 3.25. Whatever, somewhere around there. But the problem is that causes like that looks terrible, so I can't do that. Um, that is deeply unfortunate. How to handle this then? Um, I this complicates things quite a bit. Trying to think about how I want to adjust our ASCII approach. Um, I probably shouldn't use cabin. Maybe I should say log instead. That might give me a little bit more flexibility, just because that also matches the texture. But that still doesn't solve my underlying problem with the door. Um, I don't want to cheat either. I would actually like all of the ASCII art to be legitimate ASCII art. So I don't want to just like have multiple labels that I would use, like one for the door, one for the window, and all that. I want to try to legitimately make this ASCII art, just because I feel like that will be cooler for the loading screens, even though players would never know. I think I would. I think I would just like to be able to say like all of that's real ASCII art. You know, it's super cool. Um, what to do? What to do? It just sucks. All right, let's try log. Let's see what happens when you use log. So something like that, perhaps. So let's try that. We'll just be lazy and do this. All right. And then we're going to need, let's see, the fourth log in. Let's go for this. I'm going to go to the end of this. Right about there. Oof, the G's make it really awkward, but it's not terrible at least. Let's get rid of the C space stuff. Go to log, log, log. Oof. Okay. So we're looking at this. Oh no, hold on. Okay, so actually we're going to get rid of you. Boo. C-space stuff might fix it. Let's try it. Okay, so C-space is equal to, let's say, like negative 0.1 m. That's probably going to be a bit much. C-space. Again, it's going to be too much. I would have to. Maybe I can change it a little bit by adding extra C-space stuff here for the O. If I change this very much, what will it do? Nothing. That sucks. Okay, so I would have to use it on the L and the O, I bet. Dang it. I've actually done that, by the way. That's the fun part about making all of these ASCII art things legitimate ASCII art, is that when I log them to the console, it will actually highlight them and make them look like they would in the in TextMesh Pro. So I can get some super colorful ASCII art debugging. It's pretty fun. God, this is so infuriating. All right, so I suppose the only real alternative here then is to do the opposite, which is set C spacing up for literally everything else. I am not a fan of that. Equal to 0.1. It's got to be way smaller than that. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to grab this lead here. Let's move this down to about here. And then we're going to say C space. Okay, so 0.1 is too much. How about 0.01? That's close. 0.15, 0.02. So close. 1.98. Okay. So I have to do 0.018. And that seems to make it behave. A little concerned because of that bump there. That's kind of weird. But that actually does seem to work, at least. Except here, these all are different. They slowly get back into position, which sucks. It's gonna drive me mad. Okay. So they don't line up, which is what's killing me. Like they're just slightly offset, and it gets worse as they get closer to the middle, which is what makes things quite infuriating. Jeez, I don't know a good way around this. I really don't. it's annoying that that's the case, but like, ah, I don't want to just live with that. It's ugly. It's not okay. Um, it's, it's even worse if I try to get fancy with it, because like I could, in theory, do something like this, like just kind of try to whatever, uh, stagger these so that they are not quite as noticeable, like this. Oh god, that just becomes such visual chaos, though. Like that does not really work very well in a 2D environment. I feel. Well, no, never mind. I might be overestimating that. So what if we did this? Let's get rid of the C spacing. Oh dear. I need an L there. Let's get rid of the C spacing and let's just try our best to position these. I'm not sure how well we'll succeed, but it's worth it. It's worth a good try. All right, so the log part works there. Let's go OL right there. Okay. No. That's so annoying. All right, we're gonna cheat. So we're gonna do an L there, and we're gonna get rid of the O here. Ah, got it. So now it. Oh, God, damn it! It's offset. Right, right. It would be, which means that actually this G should go over here, because now I have log, 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 L. So our door is slightly too. It's off center, just ever so slightly, which is going to murder me. So I have to do that, which sucks. Ah, ah, we're doing so well. You know what I can do that I just remembered that I can do? That. That works pretty well. So I'm going to change this around. So TextMesh Pro can do justified text, which means that it's going to try to fill out the horizontal space that it has. So I'm going to change this from a uh, stretched size to be a fixed size, um, which normally I would not abdicate, but I know that my resolution is not going to change, nor is my aspect ratio, so I am confident this will be okay. I'm going to make this 400, 800. Ooh, it's like perfect for 800. Okay, so now I can be I'll have a little bit of an easier time with this, I feel. So let's go ahead and we're going to move our G out to here and our O out to here. And that is just not okay, which really is a sad day. So close. So very close. Let me think. So we have 11 and 10. How does that work out? 2, 4, 6, 8. That's fine. It's because we have 9. Okay. So I could add one more. I'd really rather not, though. Um, thinking. I'm thinking. Hmm. All right. So I think what we'll do here is, one, I'm going to copy this. Two, I'm going to paste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we can actually get rid of this bottom one. So something like that. Gotta go shopping. All right. Well, good luck shopping. Thanks for stopping by. I will continue my journey to create wonderful ASCII art. And by wonderful, I mean terrible, but I will give it my best college try. All right. So we're going to have G. Oh, that adds all kinds of fun problems over here. And then L. Oof. Okay. Jeez. This really did make things super messy. We're going to need color. So let's go for color is equal to hash something, which is, I know, going to break. For now, let's go ahead and we're going to go for like a more brownish color. Like, that's not bad. Let's go ahead and copy that. Control Z that. Paste that in. Let's go back here. Color. All right. Let's go ahead and copy that. And we're just going to paste that around our doors. Okay. All right. So that's our door with our cabin, and then we're going to need the windows. And thinking about how best to present this. So I guess before I do that, let me finish up with the porting. Okay. And then kind of stuck with this, aren't I? Wait. What? Ah, right. Hold on. Ah, I messed up. Why did I mess up? Oh, because I was editing the wrong one. Kind of, but not really. Alright, so this has to be OG. Which OG means that it's going to be OG log, 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 log. Okay, and then that means we're going to get over to here, log, log, log. What? How did I mess up this badly? Alright, so we want it to be OG, log, log, log. And then I feel like it's because we have two. Okay, so I need to move this G. No, it's because I'm looking at the wrong one again. So because the one above it is messed up? Because that would make sense. So this should be like that. And then here. Yes, that makes more sense. Okay, jeez. Ha! What a nightmare. Alright. So I just have the last two. We're going to have to make this just be a G, which means that this should have an O. And of course, it's never that simple, which means that this should shift over to here. Really? Apparently that is the case. So cool. And then we're going to need to go for log again, which I can totally just cheat and use this. Why bother designing it again if I already have it? Cool. So that's all of the ASCII art for the cabin. But we still need to do it for the windows, which naturally will suck. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and save. Okay. And now we get to do the fun stuff. And by fun stuff, I mean we have to figure out windows. So stretch. So we have our door functional. It doesn't look super great. I really wish we could do an overline. That would be nice, instead of just having underline. But I know that overline is also a super weird thing. So how about we can do. So my plan for the windows is just to basically carve out a space like right here. So window is 5 letters, right? W-I-N-D-O-W, 6. I can't spell apparently. So that means it's this width. It's longer than that actually because it has W. W. Why does it have W? Because it needs to make my life complicated. So for those who don't know, which is most people, there are 2 special letters in the English language, M and W. Now M, if you remember from our adjustments earlier, I was saying 0.1 EM, M. That terminology comes from the letter M because M, and by extension W, is the widest letter in the Latin alphabet, which means that whenever it's used, it gets to be wide. It's wider than a standard character because other characters pretty neatly fit into one particular spot. So for example, if I replace this O with like an I, you'll notice that the sides are still lined up perfectly. But if I do W, oh, actually, you know what? Ooh, that might not be a problem because we are using justified text, so it could be fine. Okay, I forgot about that. So that would be very nice. So what if I did this? Actually, before I do anything, I'm going to copy all of this. I'm going to open up Notepad. I'm just going to paste it in there. We can get rid of all of this. Okay, so that's our current ASCII art in its raw form. So I'm going to go up to here. We're going to say, right here. Here is where we shall build our kingdom. We're going to get rid of log. Get rid of log. Okay. So things are going to get messy here. Hold on. That's not okay. Sure, that's good, I guess. Yeah, right. So let's go ahead and we are awkwardly going to place that between all of our letters here. So we're going to put this in here. And I think we're going to go like here. Yeah. So it's 5 letters in. Oops. It is apparently not 5 letters It's apparently 6 letters in, which does make sense. Hold on. 2, 4, 6, 7, right? Nope, it's 6. Okay. I don't know why I second guessed myself. Okay then. So 2, 4, 6. So it's 7. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so it's 8. Except, funny enough, I didn't need that last row, because of course I didn't. Then we're going to say U. Okay. Oh man, this just makes things so complicated. U. Ha! Okay. So that would be our window. Except I need to do that on both the left and the right side, because of course. Oh man, this is going to be so complicated. Oh, it's even worse because I want all of the freaking outlines to be different color. But okay. For now, it kind of sucks because like the in-game aesthetic. Oh, of course, I'm really far away. The in-game aesthetic for our front is we have all these like boarded up windows, but I'm not sure I really want to show that. I all right, I will, because the nice thing about this is at the very least I could like make this be a different color. So we're gonna do this is gonna be super complicated, by the way. Color is equal to this. I know you're not going to be happy. Don't worry. Something like that. All right. Paste that in. And then we're going to go over to here and say color. So that is one of our windows. So let's go ahead and copy that. Paste that in. Paste that in. Paste that in. And we will also need it for our other window right here, which is going to affect. Oh, it doesn't affect our outline. Oh. Well, that just made things much more interesting. So, underline color is not affected by the color of the font, but rather by the color of the label. Interesting. That's actually quite nice to know. Unless let's Control Z that. Well, actually here, let's do this. So I'm gonna paste that in there. Let's put the U inside of the color tag. Awesome. Okay, so that means that we can do color to outlines. It just means that we have to set the color and then set the color back. So we have to set the color, do the outline tag or underline tag, and then set the color. So not ideal, but it works actually, and that's a really nice thing to know. So let's go ahead and copy this. Let's go up to, I think it's here. Yeah. So we need to say color is equal to hash that. Nothing's going to change. It should look exactly the same. That's all fine. We're going to do \color. Then we're going to go outside. We're going to do color again. I know it's not going to go to anything, but you will know why I'm doing that in a second. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab our color here. We're going to say color is equal to this. Ha ha ha! Yes. Okay, that's exciting. So I can get that to work nicely. Whew. Um, that's really nice. I'm very happy about that. Okay, so um, okay. Sorry, I'm just really excited about that. I also feel like I should have something on the door here. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. We want the fourth one, so it's actually going to be up here. Yeah, it's that R. So we're going to say color is equal to hash whatever followed by color. I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to say something like this. Probably good. Let's go ahead and copy that. Backspace. Let's go back over to here. And store color. Right here. Paste that in. Not crazy about that, admittedly. Let's go for more like goldenrod or something like right about. That's a nice one. Let's go ahead and use that. Oh, okay. That is not what I wanted, but of course I hit Control X instead of Control C, which and instead of Control Z, which means that now my color is all kinds of warped. Let's go back up to here. Right there, that's good. I was wondering why it wouldn't backspace. It's because I was hitting Control X. Let's see. Door, 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 door. This is way too complicated right there. Okay. Ah. So we do have that working. Man, ASCII art is hard. All right, and now for my brilliant strategy, which is not really much of a strategy, but it is something that I do intend to have work. That sucks. Okay, let me think. Shoot. Now that'll make things more complicated. Well, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and go up here. We're going to select our second window line right here. Yep. Cool. So we get to do C space. Space is equal to 0.1 EM. Okay, I know it's going to complain. C space. All right. I think that's not wide enough. Okay. Yeah, I had to focus on it for a second there. Let's go to 2. So 1, 5. Okay, so 0.1. Wow. 0.26 apparently. Can we do 0.25? Nope. 0.24. Okay, 0.24 M is what I need for that. And our color is going to be the same color as our door, actually, out of sheer laziness, admittedly, but also for contrast. So right here. Whew. So I need all of that for every other window line, which is a bit much. So not that one, but I do need it for this one. Okay. So, That is the ASCII art for one window and a door with a handle. And oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I, yeah, I'm kind of inclined to make the underlining and the sides to all of this be brown. I kind of am. I feel like that's gonna be a pretty good way to handle that. That sucks. Okay. Um. Hmm. All right. Well. Hmm, God, this is gonna be such a pain to code into the other side. ah. Man. This is all kinds of difficult. Probably with the other side, I would actually reverse these, so it'd be board, window, board, window, board. Um, but again, I'm going to need to have the brown outlining and all of that. So uh, we are we are getting to a good spot for our cabin, but oh my, we are going to have a long, long, incredibly long time on this one because this is probably one of the more elaborate ASCII art things that we've done. Um, Man, this is gonna take some time. So I think we might go ahead and call it a night on the stream, just because everything I'm going to be doing is kind of boring from here on out. Like just me figuring out the ASCII art for this. Uh, but that said, I do like the direction that this is going. We are going to need to change some things. For one, our hero is not going to be that same size. They're probably going to be smaller. And well, maybe. I don't know. I might just make the door taller, actually, which I guess kind of coincides with like, yeah, that would probably make sense anyway. So I'll make the door one line taller, um, and then I will uh, probably make the hero just ever so slightly smaller, um, so that things look a little bit better. But I'm pretty happy with where it's going. I think it's just going to be a matter of trying to get the ASCII art to look really nice, um, which is going to be difficult because it has to say what, everything that it is. So that's going to be quite challenging, I feel. I was debating doing a fill on the backgrounds for the boards so that they would actually be brown in the background, but I think I'm going to avoid that for now, just because, God, that would make things so complicated. But no, I think we won't, just because it also conflicts with the ASCII art look on everything else. So, all right. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good place to stop for the night or the afternoon or wherever you are, whatever time of day it is. It's a good place to stop for now. So as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.